Today we're going to be mounting this TV up on that wall. We're going to be using this Phillips full motion wall mount. The first thing I want to do is get some measurements, figure out where I want the center of the TV to be on the wall, and then we'll bust this thing out and get it all figured out. Let's get started. Hi everybody, I'm Jim Dirdorf and this is Detroit DIY. My TV is 38 inches wide, so I have decided to come over 24 inches. That will leave my TV 5 inches off the wall from the center. So I'm just going to put me a piece of tape here where I can get me a line at 24 inches. But before I do that, I want to go ahead now and figure out the center. So I want to get it fairly close to the top of this wall, within a couple of inches. So my TV is 22 inches tall, meaning 11 is halfway, so I'm going to just drop down to 14. That'll leave it 3 inches from here. I don't think that'll be too crowded. And the nice thing with the full motion mount, when it comes out, it can also tilt down a little bit, so you have a lot of agility with it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this at 24. I'm going to use the ink pen. I can typically see that a little bit better than the pencil. Now I have to go from here from my 14, which is a little ways out, so I'm just going to guess it. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's a little bit low, ½ inch maybe. Call that good right there. All right, now let's get that mount unboxed and see exactly where it needs to mount. I'm thinking that it's either going to be over this way a little bit. I don't want to put it over this way because it wouldn't swing out. So if the TV pulls out off center, I want it to move this direction. I have the wall mount out of the box, and as you can see, the location of the center of the TV is going to be slightly off center as to where it mounts on the wall. And I like the fact that it's a double action, so it swings out this way first before it swings out this way. So I think even with it both pulled out and away from the wall, that if I line it back up on my marks here, that would be about the center of the TV. It would pull out this way first and then like this. So I don't think there's any way it could interfere with this wall over here, being that it's 19 inches. So no, it won't. So I am good. I'm going to mount this to this far side of this bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and get these covers off, read some instructions, and we only have 2 holes that mounted up there, or 2 fasteners. I have my Walabot DIY here, and I just want to look and see what's in the wall. This will show me wires, it'll show me any pipes. I'm sure there's no pipes here, but there may be a wire. And it'll also show me the studs. So if I have a stud that's maybe just over a little bit from where I want to mount it, maybe I'll just fudge it this way a little bit or this way a little bit, depending on where a stud is. That would make installation a whole lot easier. If not, I have anchors that'll do the job just fine. I'm going to put a link in the description to this Walabot DIY. This is an amazing stud finder, and it does a whole lot more than studs. So the first thing we need to do is calibrate it on the wall we're going to be using it on. Calibration's complete. We're going to go with images, and we're going to start our scan. Oh, it's showing me a wire. We have a wire right here Let me move the camera closer so you can see. So as you can see, when I'm coming through here, there's a stud right there. Well, on this stud is a wire, and there's the wire right there. So it's a pipe or a wire, but it's mounted to the side of this stud, and it may or may not. So the wires are a little tricky. As you can see, it kind of disappeared. And the problem is because it's on the side of a stud. It's showing it to me, but then if I move over just a little more, there's the stud, bam. So you know that it's attached to the side of the stud. So right here is the center of the stud, and I was hoping to mount over here. So that might be pushing me over a little bit further than I wanted. So let's come this way a little bit, maybe we'll get lucky. And there is another stud right here. So I'm going to put me a piece of tape right here, and I'm going to mark this one because that's only moving me over a little bit from where it was going to be in the first place. So I want to mark this stud. I see no wires on it, so this will be a good location to go right here. So the center of that stud is right here. So I'm just going to stick my tape right there, kind of bring it down. Then I'll take my pin, mark the center of that stud, and then I can get a good idea how much it's going to move me over. So right here is the center of the stud. I'll mark it down here also. Right here is the center. All right. So now, if I have to move over a little bit, that's okay. Like I say, I have anchors, but I think it's going to work right here. So that is still going to leave me about 3 inches off the wall roughly. So I'm okay with that. I am going to get a drill bit, a small drill bit, so I can pre-drill a couple of holes here. I'm going to get my little level so I can get a nice straight line. The TV mount has an elongated hole down here, a little room for error so that you can get this leveled up. So I'm going to get this marked out, and then we'll drill those holes. Starting to get a little dark on me, so I'm trying to get some light on the subject here. I've used my level, and I've got me a nice plumb line drawn on this tape at the center of my stud. Now I'm going to get my mount over here, and I'm going to mark the center of my top and my bottom hole, and then I'm going to drill 2 1/8-inch pilot holes. Your instructions are going to tell you what size drill bit to use for the lag bolts that they've supplied. So I can still see the center of the height of the TV that I want right here. So I'm just going to line that up. I'm going to get the line in the center of the mount. I'm just going to draw a crosshair in it. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. And there we go. These are my 2 hole locations. So let's get them drilled. All right. I may go a little bit deeper. I might move this bit out. I'm going to grab the lag bolt and make sure that I got a pilot hole deep enough for the entire bolt. So as you can see, not quite. So I would like to get that just a little bit deeper. That'll be sufficient right there. It'll have enough guide to get it all the way in there. At this point, all my tape can leave. I have a 7/16 socket here, and I am just going to get this started in the stud, make my life a lot easier than trying to hold that up and get everything started. I'll do the same thing with the bottom one, just get it started into the stud. Alright, I like that. Alright, let's get that mount on here. We have a couple of flat washers that we've slid onto the legs. And we're going to get this one started in there. This is kind of why I like to run them in a little bit. You can hear it's going into the wood just a little. A lot easier to hold things up. This is a Gearwrench ratchet that I'm using, and I really like these because they are hollow through the center, the sockets are. It's pretty unique how it works. It's a different socket. It won't work with any other ratchet except for this one. But the nice thing is if you have a long stud with a nut down on it, the stud will just stick right through the middle of the socket. So it's really nice how these work. They're pretty cool. I'll put a link down in the description also for this ratchet set if you'd like to check that out. Now that I've got both of these in here and they're close to being tight, I want to go ahead and get this thing plumbed up. And right there is looking perfect. So there's no reason to over tighten them, just snug them up real nice. All right, there we have it. That part's complete. We've got a little trim piece to put on. I'm going to go ahead and put that on now. Then we got to get our brackets mounted to our TV, including this piece right here. All right, there we have it. Simple as that. Let's get this mounted to the TV. Some TVs only require this mount right here to mount to the back of the TV, and some are bigger. So they give you these extension plates to bolt on here if your TV has bigger mounting space, and mine does. So I'm not exactly sure if I need to be in this hole or this hole. So we're just going to kind of get them started on here. I'm going to go with these widest holes. Then I'll take this off here and we'll go carry it over to the TV and see what we've got. We have one Phillips head screw down here that locks this into place. So we're going to go ahead and take that out. And this just lifts right up off of there. And we'll carry this over to the TV and see exactly what we need to do to get this centered so that I get the height that I want. I'm sure you could have finagled this around a little bit to get a different center point, but I want to try to keep mine exactly center. This kit comes with multiple thread options, so I just want to see what we have. Oh, look at that, I'm in luck with the first one. All right. Because my TV doesn't have anything weird going on back here, I don't need to use any of the spacers. These shortest bolts are going to work nice, but the kit has everything in it. I'll put a link in the description for this exact wall mount so that if you're interested in what it is, you can pick up this kit exactly. So since I'm just kind of test fitting things here, I'm not putting any washers on yet or doing any of that. I just want to see if I'm selecting the right holes before I start tightening stuff up. And as you can see, it looks like I have. So I am going to go ahead and get these snugged up, but not all the way tight. And then I'm probably going to turn these around actually where I can get the screwdriver to hold it on this side, because I can get a little wrench back there easy enough to hold the nut. So I'm going to get these flipped around the other way. Make sure that I have enough room. I'm a little bit concerned that I may not. In fact, I'm going to snug one of these up just to see. And there's a little room back there, but not a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to snug these up the way they are. Just not super tight, but snug enough where I can still move these arms around a little bit if I need to, because I don't think there's room if I turn them around. All right, I'm going to get these snugged up, get the washers, get this all mounted on here, and we'll be ready to get it on the wall. I have the mount installed. It's a little hard to see because it's black on black, but these are my 4 screws that are holding the mount to the TV, and we're ready to hang this thing on the wall. Okay, we are ready to get this TV on, and I am going to pull this out a little bit and hopefully make things a little easier for myself. There's a tab right here at the top of the bracket that sticks up, and there's a slot in the bracket on the back of the TV. All we need to do at this point in time is hang that slot over this tab, and the TV will hang there, and then we put 1 screw in the bottom to secure it. I left the feet on my TV just to make it a little easier to work on while I was doing this. So this will keep my grandson off of it. And of course, the foot is going to be in my way right there. And I can't see right there, so I'm going to take the feet off. So with the feet off, hopefully this makes things a little bit easier. Have it. No, we don't. take a closer look. I'm pretty sure it's locked on there right, but and it is. The adjustment to allow it to tilt forward is not tight, so it leaned forward a little bit. I'm going to get that screw in, then we'll get it adjusted. Probably the toughest part is getting this lined up correctly. And there we have it. I'm going to go ahead and tilt it back and tighten that up. I don't think that it needs to lean forward. So, there we go. Now I hope we can get the versatility that I wanted and that we can get a decent angle for whomever is sitting over there. And I believe that we can. I think that's pretty doggone good right there. So I am happy with that. And there we have it. Last night when I was all finished with the TV, I hooked everything up, I sat down, I watched it a little bit. It was just too high on the wall. I wish I would have thought about that more than what I did before I hung it, but at any rate I wound up lowering it down about 8 inches. So I just want to put this in here, think about it a little bit, exactly how high you want that TV and what is going to work best for your viewing pleasure when you're sitting on the couch. For me, I wanted to get it as high as possible. For my grandson, he's always trying to finger on it, and where it's at now, by lowering it down 8 inches, maybe in a year or so he'll be able to reach it again, but not right now. It's close. He can reach a doorknob, but he can't turn it yet, so he'll be reaching that in not long at all. But anyway, think about it a little bit before you mount it, and you won't have to pull it down and put it back up like I did. All right, guys, not too bad of a job. Took me about 1 hour and 15 minutes or so to get this up here, so I can't complain. I think the most difficult part was hanging the TV on the bracket. Just have a good grip on it and make sure you don't let it go. If it didn't hook on there like it should, it's kind of hard to see. 2 people would have been nice, but sometimes there's only one. So we got it done, it's up there and it's attached, and I'm really happy with it. If you enjoyed yourself, click on one of those 2 videos that are going to pop up next to me, and remember to always respect the power of your power tools. We'll see you soon.